morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Grape fam. Thank you for tuning into another update. It is July 14th, so let's get into it. We're going to start with stats. The Grape token is sitting at right around 88 cents. The wine token is just under $142 at $141.40. As far as price action, we did see obviously a very strong dump after our initial depeg for the first time in a long time earlier this week, and that did result in sells all the way down to almost the 70-cent mark. What's great to see is that we saw an extremely fast and strong recovery back up to almost the 95-cent mark, and we're now consolidating right around this 88 cents range. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly we can regain our peg. I have a feeling that some of the updates coming soon will definitely help this positive price action gain even more momentum, so stay tuned. It's very predictable to see wine dump a lot whenever Grape goes below peg, because obviously if Grape is below 1.01 mim, the winery does stop printing rewards. It was interesting to see that as soon as Grape started heading, up in the right direction, up from the 70-cent mark, we did see a massive spike in the price of wine from, the low $80 range, almost all the way up to $200. And we're now settling around $140, but you can see just how, a little bit of positive price action on the Grape price influences the wine price hugely. So it'll be interesting to see where that price goes this week, and as we get closer to peg, I would definitely expect some more gains on wine. Side note, if you are interested in trying to snipe some wine for a cheap price, we recommend using Bogged Finance. And see, if you switch over to AVAX on Bogged, you have the opportunity to set limit orders on either Grape or wine. So you can use AVAX or any other currency and it'll convert it for you. Remember, you do have to pay a $3 fee to place an order on Bogged. And next we have NFTs, where the floor price has actually gone up in the past week from 11 to almost 13 AVAX now for a goon sack. We're sitting at 350 Grape for a goon sack on Hexagon Marketplace, and I think a big part of that is probably because of the massive 127,000 grapes sitting in the NFT reward pool. We haven't been releasing airdrops while we're under peg, so that means this pool has gotten pretty huge, and the next airdrops should be pretty juicy. And the final stat to talk about is TVL, which is currently sitting right around $8.7 million. It is pretty normal to see a dip whenever wine goes down. Obviously, the lower the price of the tokens, the lower the TVL number, right? So that is kind of to be expected when you see this kind of decrease in wine, but it's nice to see, only about 8 or 9% lost since we did our last update at 9.5 million, and we're looking to see, that number continue to go up as Grape gets closer to peg. All right, and new this week is we do have the dashboard, another update from the dashboard wizard Taz. You can see the dashboard now shows you not just your total dollar value worth, but also the dollar value of your rewards to claim. So as always, you can claim your rewards straight from the dashboard. So you can see I have some grapes sitting in my node reward pool, and I can claim those directly from the dashboard here. All right, next I'm going to pull up the Discord for this one because I want to just go back over what's happening with the wine nodes. You might see on the website that the wine nodes APR has dropped down to 0, and you're actually not able to make any more wine nodes. That is intentional, don't worry, it's actually been completely removed from the nodes page here now, which is good, but you can see it's also not showing up on the dashboard. And the reason for this is that wine nodes were simply not as profitable as the other staking node options in Grape. So instead of kind of drawing this out and making people wait forever just to get their ROI back, what the treasury is going to do is just send everybody enough wine to completely refund, their remaining ROI on their node. And then also they're going to be worth 10 airdrop tickets in future. So for anyone who has wine nodes, don't worry, there's a reason they've been removed. You will be refunded in an airdrop. And if you want to know exactly when that's going out, you can jump in the Discord. And next we have kind of a fun one because there has been plenty of good Grape YouTube coverage recently, even with, some of the hard price action we've seen. And one of these is going to be from Jake Crypto here. It's kind of interesting to see. He's saying basically in this video that even though the prices of the tokens, Grape and wine, are lower than the prices he paid for them, he's actually still up on his investment just because of farming and staking rewards. So it's kind of interesting to see, how some people who've been in the protocol for a while are actually still in profit, even though, the actual price of the tokens is lower than they paid for them. The other video I want to mention is from our favorite hillbilly, the lame hillbilly. He has made a new series of just investing $100 in Grape and tracking his investments. So he obviously thinks this is a pretty good time to get into the protocol, and it'll be interesting to watch this and kind of see how it develops. Okay, and coming soon, we have the WineMaker NFT game based on the winemakers or vintners NFT collection. And what it's going to be is going to come with its own token, the vintage token. And you're going to be able to stake your vintner as well as collect tools or spend Grape in the game to level up your vintner. And doing those things will earn you more vintage tokens. So the way our dev has kind of described it is that you will need to invest some Grape into the game if you want to get a lot of vintage tokens out of it. So that is going to be a cool use case for Grape, kind of just a continuous draw to burn some Grape and pull it out of circulation, take it over to the DAO wallet where it can obviously be used for other things like boosting yield or just reducing sell pressure, right? So it's awesome to see a use case like this kind of on the verge of rolling out for Grape. And this game seems awesome. I've seen actually some of the art for some of the vintners. They look really cool. It's like a pixel punk kind of vibe. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for any updates on the WineMaker game. Should be rolling out very soon. As I said, the Vintners collection is going to be an NFT mint that you can use to get into the game. Existing NFT holders will also get one free NFT mint from the Vintners collection. So just looking out a little bit for, existing investors in the protocol there. And another exciting update I can share with you guys is a detail on the Vinium platform. As you should know by now, it's going to be our lending and borrowing platform where you can also leverage farm on Grape pairs or also on other tokens from other protocols that will be able to kind of pay a fee to Grape to use the platform. So we're really excited about rolling out this platform. And I can share with you guys that Magic Farm LP auto compounder receipts will be valid for collateral on Vinium. So this is pretty cool. It means if you're already farming Grape Mim or any of the other Grape pools on Magic Farm, you'll then be able to, without pulling your LP out, you'll be able to take those LP receipts and borrow stablecoins against them. So the LP will keep earning money and you can borrow some stablecoins up front. So this is an awesome way to just get a little bit more value out of your Magic farming. And then next I want to move on to community questions. Specifically, are nodes going to have utilities in Vinium? I hope they can be used as collateral. So it's a good question. Obviously, they will give you a boost if your nodes are just giving you Grape over time. That will obviously be really useful for using Vinium. The problem with using nodes specifically as collateral is that all collateral needs to be able to be liquidated if necessary. That's kind of the risk that you take if you lend or leverage on your collateral, is that it could be liquidated if the price of the collateral goes down, right? Unfortunately, you can't liquidate a node, so they can't specifically be used for collateral. But obviously, nodes will give you some benefits in the Vinium platform, just in the fact that they continue to pay you grapes. Next question is, does Grape plan to use some of the treasury to buy Grape back up to peg? And the answer to this basically is just no. That's not really our system, that kind of centralized peg enforcement. We understand that some protocols use it. Some protocols have an LMS system where their treasury automatically buys and sells the token. It's just a different system. We're not saying there's anything good or bad about that necessarily. It's just not the way we're set up. And, one of the pros of that is actually that Grape and wine don't have upper price limits, right? Because we don't have a treasury just systematically selling off into any of those pumps. And that's, one of the strengths of the protocol. And also in lower price times, it's just another weakness of the price action is that we don't have that built into the system. But it obviously does offer better opportunities for investors to get in at a lower price. Essentially, the Grape philosophy is to just continue adding utilities for the Grape token that will naturally drive up, organic demand instead of trying to use our treasury to prop up demand. Because we've seen, even some of the biggest treasuries like Tomb Finance have struggled to really pull that model off over long term. We're much more kind of focused on building utilities and building out the ecosystem in a way that can support that growth organically. And next question is, what external revenue sources does Grape have to build sustainability? I just kind of mentioned the Vinium platform, but that's going to be our biggest driver of external revenue, right? Because essentially that's a service that we can sell to other protocols. And finally, does Grape Finance survive or can it survive without new people? The answer to that shortly is yes, but to explain in a little more detail, like I just mentioned, the biggest goal we have with the project is to just develop more uses for the Grape token, right? That's why we're involved in the King of the Colosseum game. That's why you can bridge your Grape over to Binance if you want to and use in the Alto protocol. That's why we've included Grape for the slot machine game, for the Space Invaders game. That's why we just continue to, have more uses for the Grape token that are not just staking or buying and selling in the Grape protocol or on a DEX. So the more we do that, we feel, the more organic demand we can drive for the Grape token, and the more we can sort of support the ecosystem. Essentially, by adding stuff like Vinium, where we can also, take stablecoin fees or take whatever other token fees as a fee for using the service. We're providing a genuinely useful and valuable service to protocols and to other investors from other protocols. That's something that we can kind of collect a little bit of value from by offering that solid service, right? So we will continue to build out stuff like that, and keep updating the Vinium platform, make sure it's like a really competitive service that people really are happy to pay to use, and that's how we do see ourselves kind of growing more treasury equity, and also just growing the value of the whole Grape ecosystem, right, by driving demand for the Grape tokens. Okay, Grapes, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Quick reminder that the Liquid Capital presale is still running, and if you're interested in getting involved, you can use the link on the homepage to buy Liquid Capital tokens at a discount, and those 20% of that fees will go to the Grape Finance Treasury. So we're able to use that to continue developing our use cases and continue supporting the protocol. So quick reminder for Liquid Capital there. And as always, stay tuned for the next update. Bull market, bear market, price go up, line go down, we'll be here. So tune in for the next one and make sure you're subscribed to the channels. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Grape out.